In today's video, I will be showing you how to make this crisscrossed hat. And the stitches of this hat go in a crisscross pattern, and it gives you this nice textured look to it. To begin, we will start with a chain. So make your slip knot, wrap your yarn around your fingers, grab the yarn, and then give that a pull. And there is your slip knot. And we're going to start with a chain of 68 stitches. So just grab your yarn and pull it through. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. And you'll keep doing that. Make sure you get your stitches nice and even. And you'll continue until you have 68 stitches. Once you have 68 chains, you're going to join your ends of your chain together. So we're going to place a stitch marker around that loop that's on the hook, just like that. And then we're going to take and make sure you don't twist your chain. I'm going to take this end and bring it over here, and our first stitch is going to go, we're going to be working in that bump behind the stitches. I don't know if you can see on the front you've got the V where your stitch is, and then we're going to turn it around and work in this piece back here. So you'll insert your hook into that loop that's behind the V, that back bump, and we're going to slip stitch that together. So go through both of those stitches, and we are ready to begin round 1. For round 1, we're going to start by doing a chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're continuing to work in that back bump all the way around. We're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, grab your yarn, bring up a loop, grab your yarn, pull through 2, grab your yarn, pull through 2. And you're going to do that in each stitch all the way around. So just insert your hook and do your double crochet. So 1 double crochet in that back bump of your starting chain all the way around to the end of my round. And once you reach the end of your round, go ahead and pull that stitch marker out. That just lets you know where your first stitch was. And we're going to come here and do a slip stitch into the top of that first chain 3. So there was 1, 2, and this was number 3. So you'll just do slip stitch. Make sure you go under both of those loops and just do a slip stitch to join. Before you continue, you want to make sure that you're not twisted up. So when you lay it out, it's not twisted, and it just goes in a complete circle. And that is the end of round 1, and at this point you should have 68 double crochet. To begin round 2, I'm going to go ahead and place my stitch marker around that loop, and that This one was that beginning chain 3 that we did on the previous round. We did our slip stitch here, and now we're going to do a back post single crochet. So you're going to take your hook, bring it behind your work, come up between those posts, go across the one that you did your slip stitch on, go through, grab your yarn, bring it up, bring it the rest of the way through, grab your yarn, and then finish your single crochet, and then you're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and that's going to start our next round. And from this point on, your repeating sequence is going to be 1 front post double crochet followed by 1 back post double crochet. So for the front post double crochet, you'll yarn over, come in here between your stitches, go behind the post, come out, grab your yarn, bring up your loop, and then finish your double crochet. And there is your 1 front post double crochet. And now we'll do a back post double crochet, yarn over, come in from behind your work, come up between the stitches, go across that post, back through, grab your yarn, bring it all the way out, and then complete your stitch. And that will be your repeating sequence for the remainder of this round. So we just did a back post double crochet, so now we'll do a front post double crochet and then a back post double crochet. So you're just going to be alternating. So front post double crochet and back post double crochet. And you'll continue to do this all the way around. And I'm coming up to the end of round 2. I have finished with a front post double crochet. I'm going to move this stitch marker over. And then I'm going to come up here to the top of that chain 2. I'm going to slip stitch. And then to begin round 3, you will be doing the exact same thing you did in round 2. So we're going to back post single crochet, so come in from behind, go around the post, grab your yarn, oops, try that again, come around the post, grab the yarn, bring up the loop, and then finish the single crochet, and then chain 2, and you will repeat exactly what you did in round 2. So round 2 and 3 are both exactly the same. So this one is a front post, so we will start here with a front post double crochet. So yarn over, go behind the post, and do your stitch. And the next one will be your back post double crochet, so come in from behind, and you'll continue to go with front post double crochet followed by back post double crochet. So rounds 2 and 3 are both exactly the same, and you'll continue to do this until you have completed round 3. And I'm coming up to the end of round 3. I finished. My last stitch is a front post double crochet. I'm going to move the stitch marker now, and we're not going to slip stitch here. We're just going to start our next round. So to begin round 4, if you remember, we did not slip stitch at the end of round 3. We're going to go straight into our first single crochet right into the top of that beginning chain 3. So insert your hook, bring up your loop, and do 1 single crochet. And that's going to be your first stitch. And then for this round, you're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So just 1 single crochet for the entire round. And I'm coming to the end of round 4. Got 1 more single crochet to do. And at the end of this round, you should still have 68 stitches all the way around. At this point, we're going to remove that stitch marker and set it aside. And that is the end of round 4. Rounds 5 through 8, we will begin doing our crossed stitches. So we're going to, your repeating sequence, you're going to skip that first stitch, do 1 double crochet into the next, just like that, and then we'll do a double crochet into the stitch that we skipped. So you're going to yarn over, come in from behind your work. Let's see, so we're going to come in through and come in from behind our work, go through that stitch that we skipped, bring up the loop, and then finish the double crochet. And that's going to give us our first crossed stitch right there. And you will just repeat that all the way around. So we're going to skip the next stitch. Now this is the stitch that we did this double crochet in. So this is the first unworked stitch. We're going to skip that one, do a double crochet into the next, and we'll yarn over and come back to the stitch that you skipped, coming in from behind your work, go through that stitch, grab your yarn, bring up your loop, and then pull through 2, pull through 2. And you'll just keep doing that all the way around. So we used this stitch right here. We're going to skip this one and do our double crochet into the next. Just like that. And yarn over and do a double crochet into that stitch that you skipped. Remember, you're coming in from behind the work. Bring up your loop and finish the stitch. So I'll show you one more time. This is the stitch that we used. So we're going to skip this one. So skip one and then do a double crochet into the next. Then yarn over and do a double crochet into that stitch that we skipped, coming in from behind. Bring up your loop and finish the stitch, and you'll continue doing this all the way around. When you come to the end of each of your rows, which I'm doing here, you'll see I've still got 2 stitches left in this round, so I'm going to go ahead and finish those last crisscross here. So do my double crochet, come back, do my double crochet in the stitch I skipped. Okay, and now I'm at the end of my round. And when you look at your stitches, so here's one of your double crochet that crossed over, and this right here is the stitch that went to it, and this right here is the stitch that goes to the one that's going this direction. So when you start your next round, you're going to just continue doing what you were doing before. You're going to skip that first stitch there and go into the next one, and that will get you started on your next round. So you've done your double crochet there, and come back and do your double crochet into the stitch that you skipped, and that will start you on your next round. If you do need to, you can go ahead and put your stitch marker in that stitch that went to the first double crochet you did, and that way you'll know where you started. But you'll just continue doing your rounds. You're not going to slip stitch or connect the rounds. You're just going to work in a continuous spiral. So once you've done that, you'll move on to your next stitches. So you'll do your double crochet, yarn over, go into the stitch you skipped, and you'll continue to do that. And that's how you'll end and then start the next round for each of the next few rows. And here I'm coming up to the end of round 8. I've got my last 2 stitches here, so I'm going to go ahead and do my crossed stitches. So 1 double crochet and then double crochet in the skipped stitch. And at the end of round 8, you should still have 68 stitches in total. And you can see the hat's starting to come together. And now we're going to start adding some stitches into the next round. For round 9, I'm going to move my stitch marker and we're going to pretty much the same as we were doing in the previous rounds. The only difference is we're going to be adding a chain 1. So we're going to skip this first stitch, do double crochet into the next, and then we're going to chain 1, and that's going to give us an extra stitch here, and then do a double crochet into that stitch that we skipped. And that's the only difference, is that chain 1 there. So for the remainder of the round, you'll just continue to do that. So this is the stitch that we just used. We're going to skip this one, do a double crochet into the next, chain 1, and then do the double crochet into the stitch that we skipped. And you'll continue to do that all the way around. So skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next, chain 1, and then double crochet in the stitch you skipped. And here I'm coming to the end of round 9. Got one last crossed stitch to do. So yarn over, do my double crochet. Don't forget that chain 1, and double crochet into the skipped stitch. And we'll move that stitch marker over. And at the end of this round, you should now have 102 stitches, because we've added that chain 1 in the middle of our double crochets. For rounds 10 and 11, we're going to skip the first stitch, and then you're going to do 1 double crochet in that chain that you did, double crochet into the next stitch, just like that, and then we'll double crochet into the stitch that you skipped, just like that. So you'll have one that's crossing over in the front, and then you'll have two that are crossing in the back, and you'll just continue to do that. So we're going to skip this first stitch, do one double crochet into that first stitch, another double crochet into the next stitch, and then double crochet into the stitch that you skipped. Okay, so I'll show you one more time. We're going to skip this first stitch, do a double crochet into that chain one that we did, do a double crochet into that next stitch, and then double crochet back here in the stitch that you skipped. And you'll continue to do that all the way around. And here I'm coming up to the end of round 11. Done one double crochet there, so I'll do one more, and then go back and do the double crochet in the stitch I skipped, and we'll move the stitch marker, and at this point you should still have 102 stitches. To begin round 12, we're going to start doing our decreases. So we're going to skip the first stitch, and then we're going to do a double crochet decrease. So yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up your loop, grab your yarn, pull through the first two loops, then you're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up your loop, grab your yarn, pull through the first two loops, and then grab your yarn, pull through all three loops, and then you'll do your double crochet into the stitch that you skipped. And this is what we will be doing for this round. So we're going to yarn over, skip this first stitch here, and then do a double crochet decrease. And then do your double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. So yarn over, skip this next stitch, insert your hook, bring up the loop, grab your yarn, pull through two, yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring up your loop, grab your yarn, pull through two, grab your yarn, pull through all three. That's your decrease, and yarn over and do a double crochet in that stitch that you skipped. You'll continue to do that all the way around. And I've come to the end of my round. I did my final decrease and my final double crochet here. I'm going to move that stitch marker, and at the end of this round you should have 68 stitches. To begin round 13, we're going to skip that first stitch and then do a double crochet decrease. So yarn over, insert hook, bring up the loop, pull through those first two, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, bring up your loop, pull through the first two, and then pull through all three loops. And then we will do one double crochet in that stitch that you skipped. And this will be your repeating sequence for the remainder of this round. So you'll skip one stitch and then do your double crochet decrease. And then do your double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. And that's it. You're going to be doing that for the remainder of the round. And I'm coming up to the end of my round. I just did my double crochet decrease. I'll do one last double crochet in that stitch that I skipped. Move that stitch marker, and at the end of this round you should have 46 stitches. And you'll notice that as you decrease, your hat will start to take on its shape. It's starting to curve in, and that's what you want. For round 14, it'll be the same as round 13. You will skip that first stitch and then do a double crochet decrease. And then do one double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. So it's just like the previous round. You skip one stitch, do your double crochet decrease, and then double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. Coming up to the end of this round, and I just did my decrease and my double crochet, and I only have 2 stitches left, so we're going to just skip that first stitch, do one double crochet in the next, and then a double crochet in this stitch that we skipped, and move that stitch marker, and at this point you should have 30 stitches. For round 15, we're going to continue with our decreases, so you'll be doing the same as you've been doing in these previous rounds. You're going to skip that first stitch, do your double crochet decrease, and then double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. And you'll just continue that all the way around. Skip one stitch, double crochet decrease, and double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. I'm coming up to the end of my round. I have 3 stitches left, so I've got room to do another decrease. If for some reason you only end up with 2 stitches there, then just skip one stitch, do one double crochet, and then double crochet in the one that you skipped. At this point, your number of stitches isn't super crucial because we're just going to continue to decrease until we've completely closed the hat. So at this point you should have 22 stitches. For round 16, we're going to do another round of decreasing with the crossed stitches. So we're going to skip that first stitch, do our double crochet decrease, and then double crochet in the stitch that you skipped. And you'll continue to do that all the way around. So skip one stitch, do your decrease, and double crochet in the one you skipped. And here I'm coming to the end of this round, and Let's see, I've got 3 stitches left, so I'll go ahead and do a decrease. There it is. And go back and do a double crochet in the stitch that I skipped. And I'm ready to move this stitch marker. And at the end of this round, you should have 15 stitches. To begin round 17, we're going to switch over to just doing single crochet, and we're not going to be doing any more crossed stitches. So we're going to go to the first stitch in the round, do 1 single crochet, followed by a single crochet decrease. So you'll insert your hook, bring up the loop, insert your hook into the next, bring up your loop, and pull through all 3. And that will be your repeating sequence. So you'll do 1 single crochet, and then a single crochet decrease. And continue to repeat that all the way around. Single crochet and single crochet decrease. And at this point, we're going to take the stitch marker out. I'm going to do 1 more single crochet, and then we'll move on to the remaining rounds, rounds 18 and 19. And you're just going to decrease all the way around. And you'll just keep decreasing round and round until your hole is closed up. So we'll do a single crochet decrease all the way around. And then you'll just keep on decreasing. And you'll notice that hole gets smaller and smaller. I think I can do 1 more decrease here. There we go. And now we're down to, I've got about 3 stitches here. I'm going to take my hook, I'm going to go through that first stitch, skip this one, and just go straight across to the next stitch, grab my yarn, bring it through, and just do a slip stitch to secure it and tie off. Oops. Go ahead and cut my yarn, pull that through, and then don't forget to weave in those ends. For the top of the hat, I like to smooth it out because you end up kind of with this bump here. So I like to come back through some of these stitches over here, grab that piece that I just tied off and kind of pull it flat. Do that a couple of times. And just kind of smooths out that top. And then go ahead and run your yarn through, few more times just to make sure it's going to stay secure. And I like to go ahead and push it through to the inside of the hat before I cut the yarn. Go ahead and snip that off. And then go ahead and grab that beginning tail. And then we'll just weave that through a few of the stitches too. So I'm going to bring it, weave it kind of down through the stitch a little bit, and then kind of go through these ones this way. And then I like to take it through a couple of times just to make sure it's definitely going to stay secure. You don't want it coming undone. And this way, if you go through a few times, it'll catch on itself if it gets pulled. So you just snip that off, and there we are. And this hat is done. Got your nice ribbon here before you start with the crossed stitches. And here you have it. This is what the hat looks like when it is complete. I went ahead and I took that ribbing and I folded it up just to give it a little bit more of an edge. You don't have to do that. You could just leave it down if you wanted to, but I like it folded up. So there you go. Thank you for watching.